So hello dear hiking friends. Today we have been hiking a one-day trail, the so-called Leininger Castle Trail, which is about 14 miles long, 21 kilometers, that should be about 14 miles. We are halfway through the trail. The weather is just perfect. We have just had a luncheon in the shade. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. There aren't any bugs, no mosquitoes, just a perfect hiking day. And as I've just said, we are halfway through the trail, and let's have a look what we have experienced. See you later. Well, I had met Thomas at the parking lot in Neuharlingen, where there is the trailhead which quickly took us to the forest. And here we have already the first scenic view. It is a little bit dizzy at the horizon, but nevertheless it is quite a beautiful area. Soon after we passed these beehives, and as I'm a big honey fan, my mouth started to water and I felt like eating honey. Well, there were busy bees humming around everywhere and collecting honey for us that we will sooner or later eat. Quite an impressive view, I must say. The village over there has a very funny name in English, or in German. Translated into English, it is Naked Farm. And here you can see the highest mountain in the area at the horizon, Donnersberg, which is Thunder Mountain. And here we can see the roofs of the village, Old Leiningen. But we are going to have a little break and a snack at this blessed place in the shade, which is just perfect. The many rocks in the area reminded me of the poem The Old Grey Wall, which was written by the Canadian-American poet Bliss Carman in 1916. The poem goes like this. The old grey wall. Time out of mind I have stood, fronting the frost and the sun, that the dream of the world might endure, and the goodly will be done. Did the hand of the builder guess, as he led me stone by stone? A heart in the granite lurked, patient and fond as his own. Lovers have leaned on me under the summer moon, and mowers laughed in my shade in the harvest heat at noon. Children roving the fields with early flowers in spring, old men turning to look when they heard a bluebird sing, have seen me 1,000 times standing here in the sun, yet never a moment dreamed whose likeness they gazed upon. Ah, when will ye understand, mortals who strive and plot, who rests on this old grey wall, lays a hand on the shoulder of God. So this is the public swimming pool right in front of the ruins of the castle in Leiningen, Germany. We went over the bridge and into the castle's yard, where we are standing right now, having a great look at a modern building that is a youth hostel today. Very stylish, very posh, and very beautiful. After the castle and its gorgeous swimming pool, we went to the village Old Leiningen, where we saw this stupendous well, the so-called 20 pipes well. We counted them all, and there are exactly 20 pipes. Surprise, surprise.
Awesome!
Hiking along the trail, we found this stone that reminds hikers of the lost village Zwingenstein-Waldgericht that used to be here, but that doesn't exist anymore. Again, the country became very wild and rocky, and we were gradually approaching the summit of the highest point of our hike, where there is a platform, well, a big rock that you can climb, and from where you have a very scenic and breathtaking view over the surrounding hills. Thomas was a little bit ahead of me and had already climbed the rock, but I would quickly follow him. Well, it was a bit tricky to climb the rock while filming, and I had to watch out to avoid falling down. But in the end I managed to get up, and we did enjoy the wonderful, gorgeous view around this beautiful scenery. Yeah, I think one can see how glad I am and how much I'm enjoying this moment. A little bit later we came to this strange rock formation whose name is the Camel Head, because the tourist guide says that you can recognize a camel's head, as the name says, if you have a little fantasy. However, I thought it looks rather like the head of a big dog. It was hard to see a camel's head in it, but never mind, maybe some people do. It all depends on your fantasy. Maybe you are a camel when you believe the guide and you believe that it looks like a camel head. The rock was quite steep, quite high, and there were even trees growing on top of this rock. Well, looking at the rock, I discovered holes that looked as if they had been drilled in by a machine, by human beings. And we could also discover some concrete, human-made concrete, and did some guessing why the concrete is there, if the whole rock is a fake rock or not. But probably they did some construction work to make the place safe, so that no pieces of stone or rock can fall out and hit people. Anyway, very exciting, very impressive, and that was quite something. We continued our trail. I guess this was the highest point of the whole hike, and as we had already done at least 2/3 of the entire trail, we reached a spot where we could look at the hills that we had hiked in the morning. So at the horizon, or the woods at the horizon are the woods we had hiked. Well, we are standing right in front of the Hunter's Cross. This is a place where a hunter got accidentally shot because he was mistaken for a wild boar in 1702, more than 300 years ago. Bad hunter's luck. In the far, far distant, you can see another chain of mountains, or rather hills, I'd say, the so-called Odenwald. You cannot see it clearly here because the weather is too dizzy, and you can also look over the Rhine Valley. So quite something. The trail is leading us through a vineyard. Quite unusual. I think it's the first time I'm hiking a vineyard. Again, we are in a castle. This time it is the castle Mountbatten, which is very, very close to Leiningen, our aim. And the castle is more or less in ruins, but in the building that is left over, there is a nice restaurant. So we are in the middle of nowhere, and we got lost. We are just heading more or less randomly towards Leiningen where we started, but we are not on the official trail anymore. Which is a bit of a nuisance because a thunderstorm is coming. Well, there is at least a hunter's hut and a way. So you can hear a bicycle, so not a bicycle, a motorbike. So we are close to civilization. Well, let's keep all fingers crossed that we end up somewhere near our car. So we are back on trail.
We did at least 2 extra kilometers, but we are on the original train again and have reached the last castle on this castle trail, Castle Leiningen. There is also a restaurant in the yard where we are trying to get a luncheon now, and we are virtually at the car. The car is not far away. If I climbed the wall, which is not permitted, I could probably see the car. Well, we've made it. We are back at the car. We've just had dinner at the restaurant in the castle of Leiningen. It was very, very good. Local specialties and 2 alcohol-free beers. And we are quite tired now. Drive back and call it a day. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.